Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about persuasive essays and how what you're taught in high school really does not apply. It's a good foundation, but I'm sorry, if any of y'all are teachers watching this, there are things in college that they can do that you should be teaching them to prepare them for, so that instructors aren't banging their heads against the wall and going, why? For example, in a persuasive essay, you want to use more factual statements mixed in with personal opinions, but make sure your facts are validated.
And you want to make sure your opinions are, like, I can't find the word, are backed up with the fact.
And that you use quotes that make sense. Don't do what politicians do and say, so-and-so and so-and-so did this, but then take out the part that says, because of this. You want to use full sentences like that, and you can summarize, but be careful when you do that. You want to stay away from statements that say you. Like, you are going to be doing this when this happens in persuasive essays. You can use I statements. Like, I have found in my own personal life that yada 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 has happened. You don't want to use it statements as well.
You want to make sure that you are addressing what you're addressing. Don't say it unless you really, really have to, and it's in the sentence.
Like, for example,
use the subject.
Like in this video, for example, I'm addressing people around my own age, those like y'all that are watching this, hopefully aimed at those just entering college or those of you that are in college, even teachers. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but good if you are. But a lot of it is you want to make sure that your audience is taken into account. If you're addressing your best friend versus a teacher versus an administrator in a college that you've never met, but if you ever want a hope of a response, you got to make sure that you're persuading to their level.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had a time when you were in college, Miranda, to where you were writing something and then found out that it was completely wrong, but when you were in high school it was perfectly okay?
Yes, I have. And I got a bad grade for that.
But you learned.
Yeah, I learned.
The hard way. Because in college you're paying, and they have resources there that you can get help with. Canvas, which is what you turn everything in on, it's okay, but if you don't know how to use it, they have tech support, there's websites, YouTube videos of how to use it. Because if it's working, it's okay. When it's down, it's bad. God. Okay, so what would you say possibly about other types of writing papers? What are those persuasive? What's another one?
There's an annotated bibliography.
That is how you cite stuff?
No.
Annotated bibliography?
That's where you take different sources and you put the annotation at the top, but then of the thing, and then you have to basically summarize and paraphrase and reflect on that type of article or source. And for one paper, and you do it on one subject, but for one paper you can have up to four, or you can do as much as you want, but it's each paragraph. But the works cited it's just that for that article or wherever you get your source is at the top.
I was talking to an actual instructor who teaches at a college. I'm not saying who they are, just because, but let's call them Jane Doe. Jane said that for a lot of her students, she wished that when they got into college, they were better prepared, and she finds it frustrating a lot when students don't know how to do persuasive papers, when they don't know how to do informational text, when what they know is to do is a 5-paragraph essay form, and as soon as they break that, they get anxiety, they get stress, and their papers start to unravel. Because they try and write too much, they try and put too much information in that they don't need.
Or they write too little.
Exactly. And
both ways.
Another part of it is they don't know how to address certain audiences, because in high school, unless you're in honors, which majority of students that go to community college are not in honors, they're just regular Joe students like us, essentially, because we did okay in high school. Yeah, okay, math, my teacher passed me because she liked me, let's put it that way. I was a teacher's pet. I did everything good. I was an angel, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I got away with everything. even that one time in mythology. You remember that. But the point being, when you're writing, take your audience into account.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are looking for effort. They're not looking for perfection, and they want to hear your voice, but to a level that will prepare you for a job. Because if you're writing an employer and you're doing technical papers and you have to do reports, you don't do you don't do I, you do, because of this, the statements and the recording were this, crop yield was this. And because of that, the company experienced a loss due to weather factors, or some other example like that. They're not looking for, yada yada yada, I found this, blah 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 blah. No, that'll get you fired if you continue doing it and you don't know how to learn. Another form of that is realizing your audience. Instructors realize that students struggle in school, and because of that, they're not trying to kill you. They're just trying to cram information into your head and make sure that you learn.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my geography teacher saying that you all are very good at absorbing information and regurgitating it back out. You're very good at memorizing information, but you're not really good at reapplying information in different circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, you may know when King Henry VIII got married, when he had all his wives, when they were beheaded, but why did he marry those wives in the first place? What did that impact have on the economics or the other impacts from your other classes, like you're taking history and economics? How did he do? How did that affect that? Pulling from both instances and reapplying it.
Yeah.
Those kind of things they expect you to learn and know how to do in college. Now, a lot of the information I have here is also backed up by sources that I found within the research doing for this. We'll eat soon. Soon! We're videotaping. And anyway, that's a father. Whatever. But, a lot... Yeah, you're laughing, aren't you? Come on, let it out. Let it out. You can scream and shout and let it... Wait, that's the song about work. Never mind. But, a lot of it is very important. It is. I remember what Gordon said. Do you remember what Gordon said about college? That in college, instructors don't care if you fail at the end of the day because you paid for your classes. If you want help, you gotta get it. If you're struggling in school, get help. And that's one thing I'm reading a lot doing research on this, is realizing that instructors are frustrated when students don't come to them for help.
Yeah.
And they wonder why they get frustrated at their class, and the students like, oh my god, why are they such a bitch? Why are they this and this and this? Now granted, there are some instructors that should not be allowed to be in a classroom or within 100 feet of students, I swear to god. Because some of them are creepy, some of them are weird, and some just shouldn't teach at all, or they're overqualified, and they have the ego complex up to here. But, the point being, I can do more than that, I'm cracking knuckles. But the point is, you have to be able to ask for help. If you are doing a technical paper, look up examples. When I was doing a persuasive essay, I Googled it. I Googled how to write a persuasive essay to find examples. Because we hadn't written one in a while in the class, and I couldn't find the documents where I wrote them in the past. So I used my resources. I went online, I asked my teacher, I set up help time to go into her office hours and get help.
You also go to the writing center.
Yeah, the writing center, depending on the campus that you're on, it truly helps.
Or a tutoring center.
Go to the tutoring center. The tutors that are your best friends. Bring food in there, bring snacks, drink water, coffee. Most will let you eat there because they realize you're stressed and everyone's is just meh. People work weird schedules as well.
Yeah.
The fact being is that when you are writing, you have to be able to be adaptive and flexible. If you're struggling on a genre of writing, Google it, look it up, look up examples on text. Realize what are good sources and what are bad sources when it comes to resourcing something. Because you have to have that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever written something in high school that was an A paper, but then looking back at it, if you wrote that in college, it'd be a C paper?
Yes.
Like, a lot...
I still have one saved, and I look back on it.
What was it for? Do you remember?
Abortion.
Did you get an A on it?
I got a 98 in high school on it. And looking back, if I wrote that in college, I would have gotten at least a C.
because the bar is raised. You're not babied, you're not coddled anymore in college. That's not bad. It's like a bird in the nest, it's like a newborn in the bird's nest. Mama bird has to push them out to let them fly. It's the same with college and high school. In high school, they teach you a certain mold and a certain way to think. And for a lot of you now, with Common Core coming out, that's a bit different, and that's going to be a struggle. I'm happy I got out when I did. Are you happy? Because the stuff they're having to learn now,
My little sister has been doing that mostly her whole life, and what they learn now is so different.
It's insane. I mean, they'll be smarter in the long run, and they'll probably do better. And Arizona has to raise its standards anyway. Because I see a lot of people in lower English classes, and when I talk to them, they're not stupid. They're quite intelligent. It's just the education didn't really do them much good. And a lot of that is they didn't have the resources that they needed. They were afraid to ask for help. They were prideful, and they realized, I can do it on my own, because in high school I could do that and I got A's. Well, good for you if that happened, but unless you're an AP student or doing online college classes as well, it's not going to do you much good. And we will continue this in possibly another video. Any questions, please comment below, and I will be sourcing some of the sources that I found, bits and pieces of this, in the video descriptions as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay? Cheers! Anything else, Miranda?
No.
Okay, adios.